Knicks fans, the Knicks are streaking. The team made it 6 wins in a row with a 108-85 victory over the Magic on Friday night. And the Knickerbockers are right back at it on Saturday night as they face the Wizards in the nation's capital. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to recap last night's game. We're going to preview tonight's game with the founder and host of Still Knicks Fans, my guy, Ron Hunter, joins me now. Ron, what's going on? Happy holidays. Happy New Year
Same to
approaching.
you, man.
How was your Christmas week?
Really, really great, man. Just enjoyed spending some time with family, watching my son grow. I mean, feeling like I'm going through my own little midlife. I'm seeing old pictures of him as a young, and I'm getting all teary-eyed. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Oh man,
Yes,
the time flies. And hey, look,
yes, yes,
as
yes.
you a Knicks fan that you are, you got to enjoy a Knicks win on Christmas Day, so that is good. Then you saw another win last night over the Magic. And Ron, I think it's one that when you look at the game, kind of was an ugly win, right? 19 turnovers for New York, only 4 made threes in this contest. So what are we learning about this team when they're able to win games like this against a very feisty Orlando squad?
I think this has been something that I have been clamoring for a while, Dex. I've looked at this Knick team, and you can see that they're one of the teams that they're very explosive. They're very dynamic. They have a bunch of guys that can beat you on any given night, but they've been living and kind of dying by the three-point shot. And it's weird to see that from a team that shoots, close to 40% from three, but also shoots like 50% from the field. So I'm like, you wonder why is it so tough for them to, be able to win games when they're not shooting the three that well. So I was kind of actually really happy. I know that Orlando's a little bit depleted. They lost Mo Wagner for the year. They're still without Franz Wagner and without Paolo Banchero, but they're a formidable team, and they've given the Knicks problems because they have a good, athletic, long defensive group out there. It still was nice to see them. They only made 4 3-point shots, yet they were able to, beat this team, pretty well. So I was very excited about that. I think that's a very good look for the team, and it's something they can build on going forward.
I would agree, and I think it shows that they can win games in different ways, right, Ron? And even though they only made 4 threes, I think it should also be noted they only took 15 of them. So they were taking what the Magic gave them, and granted, they didn't make a lot of threes, but hey, they got the job done. Now, Josh Hart, speaking of getting the job done, Ron, he had himself what I like to call a Josh Hart game. And I think all Knicks fans know what that means, right? Menace on the glass, 13 boards to go along with 23 points. Was this Hart's best game of the season? And how important is he to having an identity of grit on a roster that changed so much at the start of the season?
Probably. I think this year, so far, yeah, I think this was his best overall game this season. He's had some really good games. He's had a triple double game. But I think this was a game in which the Knicks needed him. Like, this is part of the difference in winning a game when you're not shooting well, right? You got Karl Anthony Towns, who's in foul trouble. I think Jalen Brunson had 4 fouls. OG Anunoby had 4 fouls. Even though Brunson had it going, this was just one of them games where, they needed somebody to step up. They needed a little extra from somewhere. And Josh Hart provided that, as well as the spark defensively. His hustle rebounds were incredible, like timely rebounds. Really helped this team, and I think it's phenomenal to watch how good Josh Hart has become this year, working on his shot in the offseason. You could look at his numbers. Has his career year with stats. It's phenomenal, and I really think he's the heart and soul of this team. And I'm not surprised that now he's been thrown in trade talks, but I hope he stays with the New York Knicks for a long time to come because he's definitely needed.
Yeah, he's a player that just feels like a Knick, right? Embodies a Knick. It's the heart and soul of the team, as you called him. And tremendous game by him on Friday night. Now, I also want to talk about Landry Shamet because he's returned now, been back for a couple of games, got a bit more playing time on Friday night. 10 minutes, 7 points, 3 of 4 shooting. Do you like what you saw from Shamet, and do you see him as a rotation player for this team going forward?
No, I love Landry Shamet's game. I think that at first I didn't quite understand, the plan for how they were going to use him because I knew they basically brought him in as a replacement for Dante DiVincenzo. But what we saw from Dante DiVincenzo was so electric, so explosive, the camaraderie he already had with the rest of the Villanova guys. So I didn't know if Landry Shamet could kind of live up to that. But when you look at Landry Shamet's career, he's been a very good role player. He shoots around 37, 38% from three. He shoots good numbers from the free throw line, around 80%. And he plays solid defense. So I think that the Knicks already had the vision for him. as he could be a really key cog off the bench. I'm happy that he's finally back healthy. And the 10 minutes that he played, he had 7 points. And you could just see when he was out there, the 3-point shot, it was all net, like it was water. He had a good flow. He got a nice little move at the basket. And then he caught that steal for the light dunk. But it showed that, he's got a lot of different facets to his game that the Knicks could definitely benefit from. And one of the biggest issues for this Knicks team has been, where can that consistent bench scoring come from? Outside of Deuce and Campaign, you really don't have an answer for that. So Landry Shamet is another nice piece to have coming off the bench. And I think tonight, if Jalen Brunson can't go, Shamet would be a really good piece to kind of plug into the lineup to get some rotational minutes. I think Deuce and Campaign can do the rest, and I think the Knicks will be all right.
Yeah, it could be a good opportunity for Shamet tonight, and that's where we go to close this out. You brought that up. Knicks versus Wizards tonight. Jalen Brunson listed as questionable right now at the time of recording this for tonight's matchup with Washington. Now, here's the thing, Ron. These kind of games, this could be a tricky game because we know everybody beats the Wiz. They're 5-23 on the season. It's a back-to-back situation for the Knicks. So what are the keys to the Knicks making it 7 wins in a row with a win on Saturday night down in the nation's capital?
I think this is just one of those. They need to continue to build off of this last game. Don't play down to the competition. The Wizards have been a bad team, but on any given night, any team can be beaten in the NBA. We've seen that. The Knicks have already been upset by a bunch of different teams so far. But at that time, I don't think the Knicks were playing as well as they are now. I think they're gelling a lot better. And I think they understand what they need to do in order to get these victories. And I think they've been tested. Battle tested is the key. And I think they need to continue to go out there, play strong defense, continue to get the rebounds, and keep pushing the pace. The Knicks have been playing a lot faster over the last 10 to 15 games. Been getting up and down the court. And I think they need to continue to do that against these teams, keep putting the pressure, keep putting their foot on the opponent's neck, if you will, and don't take their foot off the gas, because one thing that the Knicks have done, even when they've gone out to big leads against these teams, is in the fourth quarter, I guess they kind of feel like they got it in the bag and they've let their foot off the gas. And Knicks, they can't do that anymore. They're a championship team in contention for it all. You got to keep your foot on their necks. You got to keep going. It's not about embarrassing, but it's about continuing to do what you should be doing. And that's, if you're a good team, a top echelon in the league, you got to blow these teams out and win these, games solidly.
There you go. I heard it from Ron. Don't play with your food. If you're the Knicks on Saturday night, they'll take the Wizards. 5-win team. Don't want to sleep on them. Understand it's a back-to-back situation. And just for fans so they know, the Knicks will stay in D.C. They'll play the Wizards again on Monday. So 2 games in a row against Washington. We'll see if the Knicks can continue to keep streaking. That is Ron Hunter, founder and host with Still Knicks Fans. Check him out there. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. Ron, I appreciate you. Happy New Year, my friend, and we will talk soon.
Happy New Year to you, Dex. Always a pleasure.